Hi, Constance.
Hey, Vanessa, how are you?
I'm doing well. We just wanted to welcome Constance with Orlando Thrive Therapy. I am so excited to be speaking with you today as our first guest in our new series, Illumination, as we feature small businesses trying to support them during this time. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for doing this. I think it's such a great time for, all of us to connect and do our best to help each other. And I really want to give you kudos for doing this because I think it's a great way to turn our panic into power. So awesome
Absolutely.
job. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. So I wanted to start with this topic particularly because as I'm talking to clients and friends and family, I know many of them are feeling so many emotions right now. They're either going stir crazy, being at home, or trying to find what their new normal looks like, or they're now being teacher along with working, house chores, things like that. And some are feeling hopeless because many of people that I've talked to, many have lost jobs. So I thought that it would be great to bring you on because I want to bring in this time of need a little bit of hope to let people know that there's help out there and that they're not alone. So tell me a little bit about you and Orlando Thrive Therapy.
Great. Yeah. And again, thank you for doing this. It's so needed. Just because we're in isolation doesn't mean we can't connect. And more than ever, I think we need to keep those bonds. And what I am finding, I'm a lead therapist here at Orlando Thrive. There's 7 of us here. We're not your typical therapy organization. We give weekend appointments. We make sure that we're available on evenings. We're available when you need us. We don't work 9 to 5. And I think that's super important. And right now we are offering some coaching for free for clients to just call in, and they need a little mood reboot is what we're calling it, turning that panic into power. And that's what's really important. And also understanding at this time that we are going to stop breathing. So we're not being mindful. Yeah, there's the breath, right? Every time I say that, when people
Oh,
breathe, right? As we're holding our breath. And the
yeah.
only way the body knows that you're in any kind of trauma or any kind of distress is the breath.
Yeah.
So the brain only knows what you tell it. So I've been really trying to teach my clients, and some of them have been coming to me for a while, and they already know this, that they have to be mindful about their breath. Because and then if we're not mindful and we're breathing very quickly, that primal response, that adrenaline hijack, right? We don't have any choices.
Yeah.
So when we are in adrenaline hijack and we're running from the dinosaur, even though there is no dinosaur, right? We're not breathing. So then if we're not breathing, our thought process is narrowed. And that blocks our creativity. It blocks our innovation, right? And so when we're faced with something or any kind of challenge, we're not open enough to see the infinite possibilities, right? And some of them may not be good choices, but we need to make sure that we have always plenty of choices. So we're not caught up in that amygdala hijack. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm kind of teaching my clients. Yeah.
Breath is so important. As you said that, I just took a deep breath, it's just like trying to breathe, because I think when we are in this state of just panic and uncertainty, I mean, there's so much uncertainty out there. We don't know what's happening to the stock market. I get questions on the housing market. I mean, there's really no clear, concise answer. We just don't know. It's so important just to step back and just take that breath, right?
Yes.
Because I just felt a little relief just doing that for a moment, like, oh, okay.
And just suggesting it to you. I said, oh, good breath. And I always say that to my clients. I'm like, oh, good breath. We need to breathe. And, we don't breathe correctly. And so I try to also teach my clients, and we can put this also out there. When we're breathing in, we shouldn't breathe in deep breaths, because that makes the body go, okay, we're running again from a dinosaur. And This is a primal response in our biology that we don't need anymore. So we have to take little breaths in and long breaths out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the big breath in is our autonomic, and our autonomic nervous system is like, okay, run.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
I'm just helping my child with his homework. I'm just getting him on virtual school. I don't need to run. Right. So breathing a little breath in and take our lips and breathe all the way out as long as we can triggers our sympathetic nervous system. And that's the relaxing hormone. That's the relaxing breath. So in those moments, we have to recognize and be mindful, right, of what's happening in our bodies.
I think definitely with everyone at home with homeschooling now, I think we all need to take that breathing into account, especially with all the technology. I know my husband's been in charge with the kids, doing the homeschooling this week. God bless him. So I've heard like a couple of commotions downstairs, and I'm just breathe, and even me to take a breath that he's got it. You just have to let whoever's handling that just own it and just be okay with whatever happens, because we're all doing the best we can right now.
Absolutely. Staying out of that survival, very good, and awesome awareness, staying out of survival, that we're not surviving. This too shall pass. Yes, it's a tricky time. It's unorganized out there. Yes, we have people that are, absolutely getting triggered. I call that trigger, where we're developing behaviors or trying to navigate through this, and we have to be careful that we're not doing these unhealthy behaviors or these rituals, because in 30 days those behaviors will become part of your psyche.
Oh, that's so true. That's such a great point. So it's so important to nip it in the bud now, in essence, and just make sure that we don't fall into bad habits, and we keep breathing. And what other suggestions would you give so people are not creating those habits that now they have to go back in 30 days and fix it? Oh, technology. Constance is frozen. There she is. She's back.
Just breathe.
Just breathe. Yeah, exactly. Just breathe.
Just breathe. I felt myself do it. I was like, there it goes, right? Everyone's on the internet right now. Everybody and their brother. But yes, as you were saying, right, it's important to remember, let's develop healthy behaviors. Let's look at this 30 days or whatever time period. And again, we don't know, this uncertain time, the anxiety rises. Let's look at some behaviors we can put in place that are healthy, right? Getting outside, getting those endorphins, right? Looking online, there's all kinds of tricks and trades. We're available at orlandothrive.com, to get this little mood reboot, to get someone to talk to. Don't feel like you're alone and isolated. And I think that's probably the biggest thing, that we are connected in all of this.
Absolutely. I mean, even my kids, I'm learning all this technology stuff that we never knew before to keep the kids connected, like kids messenger app. Lucas, my older one, loves it. He's like, who's online and who can I talk to? Like this morning he was talking to one of his friends from school, just keeping those lines of communication open for adults and for the kids. Don't forget the kids too, because they're so social just naturally. I think as adults, we become a little bit more introverted over time, perhaps, but those kids need that social interaction too. So it's so important to find those apps or whatever is out there to be able to keep them social and not isolated, right?
Yeah, I like that you're sharing that, because this app, I think you were telling me about, it's safe.
Yes,
these apps are safe. And so as parents, there are things out there, there's the Net Nanny, there's all kinds of things out there that we can explore, right? Again, we're don't narrow our vision and panic. We don't have any choices. We're breathing and we're getting innovative, right? How can my child connect? Exactly. How can I get him connected to his friends in a safe way?
Yes.
Right? So kudos for you for doing that. Good job.
Yeah. And that was really hard for me too, because I'm very protective of my kids. I'm like mama bear, I get that. And a lot of parents feel that way, but as I was talking to this mom, and she's like, trust me, it is so safe. You have to approve everybody that you connect with. And it's so great because he has, like 10 friends on there that he's very close with, that now he could just, they're online, and they can play games together through the app. It's just thinking outside the box and just making sure that we don't self-isolate ourselves and in turn self-isolate our kids, right?
Absolutely. Because we're teaching them habits now too, and we are their role models. So if we're panicking, right, and we're getting this hijack happening, and we're not breathing and knowing we have choices, right? This is when our kids are going to model our behavior. We can tell them all day long, relax, breathe. But if we're not modeling that behavior, they're not going to do it. And they're going to feel the same kind of tension. Yeah.
That's so true. That's so true. I know one of my questions was, what strategies can we use to keep calm? I think breathing, getting outside, exercising, like you said, releasing those endorphins and things like that.
Yeah, being mindful. This is a good time for self-care. And I teach my clients self-care all the time. Even before we get into any kind of deeper issues, we're always looking at, what am I doing to take care of myself? Like, what am I doing right now in self-care? And it's different for everybody. Right. But if we can take this opportunity now, turning this panic into power, right? We've got time. What can I put in place? So that brings me to something I'm going to touch on too, that we're working from home. And
Right.
so I find clients, they're rolling out of bed and getting on the computer and working 15-hour days. And so I'm like, okay, let's talk about this. Let's get a schedule. And I know some of my cohorts here have put together some groups. We have some groups running. We're bringing some people in, like 4 or 5 girls once a week, or doesn't have to be girls, men as well, struggling and putting these practices in place and brainstorming between all 6 of us, if there's 6 of us on the call, what each person is doing to help with self-care, right? Getting these ideas. So can we make ourselves a schedule, right? Can I put some self-care in this schedule?
Yeah.
If I'm not taking breaks and I'm not doing self-care, I'm not going to be available the way I need to be for my company.
Right.
And again, the innovation is not flowing.
Right.
So
And
the innovation and creativity,
and you're going to burn out probably even quicker than being in an office where you can disconnect. Right now that we're all working from home, it's so easy, like you said, to roll out of bed and just be like, oh, let me just go on the computer. But you really need to make sure you set a schedule, right? I mean, one thing they teach us in real estate is time block, have block for this, have personal time blocking out on your calendar. I mean, you have to make sure that because you're working from home, that you're not changing what you used to do before habit-wise, right? You want to make sure you don't go into bad habits.
Very good, very good. Absolutely. So structuring those days with self-care, taking those breaks, getting up and taking a shower. I'm coming to the office. I'm essential personnel. Yeah. I'm coming to the office. Even if I'm home, I'm making sure that I'm showering and getting dressed before I walk into my office. And out back here, we have some tents out back. I started doing that way before they did the order because I wanted people to feel comfortable. So in our backyard here at Thrive, we have some tents out there and some tables and chairs. People can come and have these conversations. So I'm letting my clients come here and take a break from their homes because they're allowed to do that because medical appointments are essential. So that also can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think as you grow deeper and deeper into this, and if you don't leave the house, it gets harder to leave the house. I mean, I don't know if you're hearing that, feeling that, seeing that, but I think that because you're, again, going back to that habits, you're creating now a new habit that we don't leave the house.
Yeah, absolutely. And if our tendency is more introverted than extroverted, and our belief, you aren't born introverted or extroverted, but if there's a belief that you're having that the house is where I'm safe, then you're going to kind of self-isolate. And that's what you need to be careful of, is mindful of, is to not self-isolate, to make sure you're reaching out.
Absolutely. Besides the tent in the backyard there, what other options do you have for clients to stay connected? So say someone should say, oh my gosh, I saw the video and I didn't realize that I really needed to talk to someone, that I want to make sure that I take care of myself and my mental health. If they don't feel comfortable even going in the tent, what other options do they have to keep that social distancing but still stay connected?
Yeah, it's a great question. Again, more innovation. Orlando Thrive Therapy, we have on our website, there is a button you can click and actually talk to a therapist on staff.
Okay.
So we're using Zoom. I have them all right now. I have Skype, I have Zoom, I have WhatsApp, and I have FaceTime. I don't know if I said that. I think I have 4 of them. Yeah. And I have them all running simultaneously. So if I lose one, I have the other. So our staff is prepared for that now, that we do have a Zoom account. We are trying to work out the glitches, but beware, the internet just goes. It'll just stop. So we breathe and then we go back online, right? But whatever anybody's comfortable with, either FaceTime, and there's also Google Duo. Right now in our field, there used to be compliance where you'd have to be telehealth or you had to be a certain way to telecommunicate, and they've lifted all those standards. So we don't need to use any of those typical, those other ones we see like the telehealth, the compliance. Right. We don't have to do that anymore. We can use whatever works.
That's amazing. Because I mean, even just for say when this passes, because this too shall pass, right? There's uncertainty in terms of timing, but this too shall pass, just like with anything. I remember my sister telling me that when I had sleepless nights with the boys. She's like, this too shall pass. I'm like, it's never gonna end. I'm never gonna sleep again.
Yeah, I hear you.
And guess what? They slept through the night and I was able to sleep, right? So, but it's good just thinking in the long term when this does pass, that people still have options to communicate with you, because, you know, a lot of people run businesses and have busy schedules and kids at home and things like that. So, but it's good to know that they can still connect with a professional and get that mental health care that they need, even remotely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, to me, is amazing, because most people think it's 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, traditional office space. You have to go in the office, and some people might not be comfortable in an office space, you know?
Absolutely. And that's how we're different. You know, we follow the method of Alfred Adler, and he was a theorist that really connected community. And that's how I think we're different here at Orlando Thrive. We connect with our community, and I'm out on the swings with my clients. I'm walking the lake with my clients. Whatever I have to do, I have to meet them where they are. So I think even when this is over, and I was doing this anyway, we're very innovative here, where we don't have those 9 to 5 hours. And I always offered FaceTime or Skype to my clients. We have self-care bundles, I call them, these packages that we offer. And within that package, I offer sessions, but coaching as well as this. Absolutely. If you can't get out or you're stuck in your office, I have clients that'll call me from their car. We can absolutely do a conference call or a Skype call from your car. So I think we've always been that way. So this wasn't a huge leap for us. We're just getting more innovative in more of the choices for this telecommunication. But I feel like at Thrive, we've always kind of been that way. Whatever you need, we can meet you where you are.
I mean, that to me is just amazing. I mean, that to me is so priceless, because again, you know, I'm thinking of all the nurses and doctors and all these folks suffering from the virus that feel alone and isolated, and they feel like they're holding the weight of the world on their shoulders. You know, I want them to be able to reach out and seek help, and to know that you guys are available really when it meets the client's needs. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, even yesterday I had a client that came to the office, and the other person in her relationship couldn't be there. So they were on a FaceTime call. So I had the client here and the FaceTime call here. And the three of us had a session. I'm like, whatever works. And it worked perfectly. It absolutely worked. We were able to, you know, get the model down, get some techniques, get some things in place for them to connect in their relationship so they can, you know, feel more safe together. And, you know, connection is such a big part of this, and it's always been a part of what I do in my practice, that we have to be connected. It's not about problem solving, but we have to breathe and feel connected and find those places in each other, especially our partners, where we can have that empathy and sympathy and just understanding. We may not agree, it's not about agreeing, but we need to understand each other. And if that's what they needed in that moment, he is a first responder, so we were able to do that call and make that work. So that's how innovative we need to be. Yeah, makes sense.
Absolutely. I mean, have you seen, I mean, in terms of calls that you guys are receiving and things like that, what sort of clients do you typically work with? I mean, is it everybody, anybody? I mean, is it couples? Is it individuals? Tell me a little bit about what that looks like for you guys.
Well, I'm the lead, one of the leads here. I'm the lead couple specialist. So I specialize in couples. But I'm also working on individual as well. Okay. So here we do deal with anxiety, depression, any kind of struggle with, if you're looking at, you know, self-esteem issues, you're looking to build your business, you're looking just to all over just feel better. We have that as well. And we have an addiction counselor here as well that we can refer to. What I do personally with my couples or even my individuals, I'm already teaching them to be in a relationship. So I'm working on their interpersonal skills, as well as working with them in a relationship, because I think I'm doing them a disservice if I'm not doing both. So even if I'm seeing you individually, I'm going to work on you and help you you're going to take tools home to connect with either community, your family, or your partner. So I think that's important. Community connection. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that with everybody being in close quarters, I think that, you know, spouses, significant others, I mean, there might be some extra stresses there, and things might come out that maybe weren't discussed and things like that. So it's important to know that you're there to reconnect those individuals and make sure that they feel connected, because this is very stressful. I mean, let's just call it what it is. It's a stressful situation. People don't like uncertainty. Fear takes over. That's why I have this faith, my glittery faith right here next to me, you know, to remember that's important. So we have to turn that fear into faith.
Oh, I like that.
You like that?
Power. Absolutely. Here we go. Panic into power.
Fear into faith.
Faith. And these are little things, these are little acronyms we can start learning.
Yeah.
And so when things start to happen, our breath starts to get shallow, these little reminders,
I'm
hey, wait a
breathing.
second. This is fear right now, but I'm going to have some faith. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to change the way I'm thinking. I'm going to lower that adrenaline system. I'm going to turn to my partner or my community. And I'm going to, and I was looking last night, there was an app. Someone sent me an app, and it was Connect to a Human app, where you can literally connect to a person. And you
Connect. I'm
wait,
gonna
and
write
it
that
connects
down.
you to a person.
Connect.
Yeah. There's so many apps out there. Like, everyone is really getting innovative on how to connect. And a person gets in front of you, you look at them for a minute, and then you don't exchange information, nothing, and then they just go.
Oh, that's so neat. I'm gonna put that in our little comment section. So, and that's one of the other things I wanted to ask you about is what sort of resources are available out there? I know there's tons of apps, as you just mentioned. Is there like a good meditation app? Is there a good, what is out there? What sort of resources can we refer to people in terms of like if they want something just kind of quick on their phone just to kind of decompress?
I guess right now, it's basically personal preference. So,
Okay.
Going on YouTube and kind of looking up meditation, looking at what kind of meditation you like. And right now it's about self-discovery. What do I like? What meditation? Some people like music. I blast the piano downstairs when no one's here on my TV. And when they come in, they turn it down because some people in this practice don't like that. But that's something that calms me. I love the tuning of the piano. So learning, this is a good time for us to learn about who we are, right? And what kind of things help us relax, because it's different for everybody.
Right.
It's different for everyone. So going on these apps, do I just need breathing? Do I need music? Do I like the guided meditation? Do I like the ocean? Let me write a couple of things down, maybe doing some journaling to really self-discover. And again, now for 30 days, let me self-discover rather than getting an unhealthy behavior or a ritual that we're not going to need after these 30 days. Again, taking passion.
I like that, because I think that if we turn this situation into a new habit, seeing things more clearly, because now we have more time to breathe, right? I mean, I've just noticed that in my personal life, like, oh, I have clarity. Like, I've become more creative because I'm not on the go all the time. I mean, I still have my schedule and I do try to time block for certain things, like go downstairs for lunch to get out of my room, which is my office now, my makeshift office, and just making sure that I'm diligent, and I have journaled more, and I have, read the Bible more, and I've just found time to do stuff for me, that's self-care. Whereas I didn't have time for that because I couldn't even think about it because I was on the go so much,
Right. And when you're on the go so much, are you living or surviving?
You're surviving.
Right. So we get stuck in that. See how this works?
Yeah.
So we're not taking breaks. We're stuck in surviving. And when we're surviving, do we see choices?
No.
No, we don't see any choices. And what is that doing to our bodies as we're tensing up and we're not breathing? We're squeezing our organs, right? High blood pressure, diabetes, like all these things can happen from the body trying to survive.
Yeah.
So good, absolutely good awareness here, right?
Yeah.
I gotta take some breaks. I gotta breathe. I'm not surviving. I'm not in the wilderness, right? I got a house. I have food, right? It's gonna be okay. It's constantly telling yourself that and getting that self-awareness, right? Finding what you love to help you do that.
And I hope that through this program that we're starting, and through specifically this, because I feel that just calling my clients and speaking to people, I just was so pulled to the mental health piece of it, because I do feel we can get so in our head, and that negative record player that plays, I'm not worthy of this. I got fired. I'm never going to get another job. I never, not. And if we can kind of break that and say we are worthy, there are opportunities out there, and perhaps people are thinking, I've wanted to do X, Y, and Z for so long, and I never had the time to think about it. And perhaps this is their time to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
To launch something, to launch an app, to launch something that they're passionate about in their heart, to take that time to turn this into something positive.
There you go. Absolutely. And it's a choice.
Right.
Again, when we get stuck in that hijack, when we get stuck in the not breath, we don't think we have any choices, because if you're running from a dinosaur, the only choice you have is to run.
Right.
Right? fight, flight, or freeze. So
Yeah.
that's the only choice that we have. So very good. Can we open up our minds? And sometimes it's uncomfortable to go, okay, I have choices. So sometimes this is a neurological process. It's kind of burned in our brains for a very long time, 20, 30 years, depending on how old we are. So opening up these new tracks may seem mechanical. It may not seem very comfortable. So it's just like going to the gym, right? We're exercising our emotional intelligence.
Right.
We're exercising these muscles in our brain. It's just like going to the gym. You can't go to the gym one time and have great abs. It doesn't work like that. Right? I wish it did. Right? Gym one time, we work out. I'm good. Right? It's a constant working out of the mind. And it is a fight a little bit sometimes because we're so used to this negative programming. We're so used to being fighters.
Yep.
To see that there's choices, right? And there are choices. There are these construction workers. We were looking online yesterday. There's certificates, there's trainings we can do for other types of jobs out there. It may not be the job that you want, but at least it's somewhere to put our focus for now, do something different so we can get back to what we want to do. So being flexible. And again, if we're running from a dinosaur, we don't have any choices to be flexible there.
Exactly. Find your new passion, find your new fire, find what makes you happy, find your joy. I mean, I think that, again, it's sad for me talking to clients and hearing their stories, you know, because it does resonate and kind of sit in my heart. But I also see that this could be an opportunity for them to open new doors. And like I said, things that they've thought about doing, do it.
Yeah.
Do it, you know,
this is the time.
This
is the time to turn what you just said, you know, turning that fear into faith. You know, we're always saying it's Orlando Thrive, you know, sending that panic into power, pain into purpose.
Yep.
And we have choices.
Yeah.
And like I said, it may be uncomfortable when we start to innovate into these new choices, and that's completely normal. Again, we're working out the brain. It's a new muscle. It may seem fake or not genuine at first, but 30 days make a habit. So if you do it every day, a couple times a day for 30 days, you'll make this new healthy and this new perspective habit.
That's awesome. So Constance, if they wanted to reach out to you or your organization, how would they do that? And of course, we'll put all the information, guys, in the comment section and things like that. But how would they reach you if they felt like, oh my gosh, what she's saying, I really need help with?
We have our website available, orlandothrivetherapy.com. We have all of our practitioners there, and you can go through and kind of scan around and find someone. Our bios are very detailed. So you can look at our bios and figure out what person you'd like to speak with. There is a number on that screen. You can just press it. You'll immediately get connected, not to that particular person maybe, but to a person that can direct you and get you to that person that you picked for your counselor. Yes. And we're offering these 15-minute consultations for free. We're calling them a self-care bundle, or these mood reboots is what we're calling them, just to connect, and we can have that conversation. And if you want to continue, absolutely. But if you're just looking for questions or, you know, just to find out some more information, we're at orlandothrivetherapy.com. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to leave folks with? Any other things that you think that you want to share that's on your heart right now?
Well, I think it's amazing what you're doing, Vanessa, and I think we continue to do this, right, in any way possible. I was on Facebook a couple nights ago laughing so hard at the things that people are putting on Facebook. I mean, and I'm responding when this made my day. So humor, I mean, I was just responding to people. I'm like, guys, this is hilarious. Like some of the reactions to what's happening. And yes, it's serious, and I get that. But when we can bring levity into the situation and laugh a little bit, that'll help us not survive so much. And I'm not telling people to be safe anymore. I'm telling people to be well. Let's just be well. So yes,
be well.
Thank you again for having me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome, Constance. Thank you so much. And guys, thank you for joining us, and be on the lookout for the next one next week. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.
Be safe.